Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Animac here from Anime Uproar, and welcome to a brand new episode of the One Piece Virgin.
Today,
yes, we're excited. We're excited because today we're tackling Impel Down. Impel Down. And in case you didn't hear it, a young man called Tekking101 is here with us.
Yeah, hey guys, how you doing? I like Impel Down. It's a good arc. It's a good prison break arc, and I'm here to talk about it today. So we're gonna have fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. And we also have Briggs.
Nugs and Briggs!
Oh, they heard me. They heard me.
Yeah.
Oh man, a lot of stuff happened in this arc.
I may be crazy, but I'm not deaf.
Yeah, we had one of the craziest prison break scenes in the world. We had the Chad lad, Bon Clay, absolute MVP. We had the King of Queens.
We did.
Inspiration for that show that was popular.
Yes, exactly.
So many things. Blackbeard, Jimbei, Magellan.
Bro, Magellan!
Bro, we had some S&M waifus in this arc. It's crazy.
Yeah, Sadie girl. We had the first introduction to awakened devil fruit users. That's something. Yeah.
But most importantly, we had Bon Clay. And
Yeah,
Buggy.
Bon
And Buggy.
Bon
We had
Clay
Buggy.
above all.
Who
Like-
expected Bon Clay to be an MVP of a future arc? After, like, Alabasta, people didn't expect him to come back, let alone carry the story.
Yeah, and he had
remember?
his little cover story, but beyond that,
Yeah.
I mean, like, no one probably, like, at the end of the cover story, they all end up in Impel Down, so it's like setting it up for this, but
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, to
like,
be fair, I'm pretty sure when we covered Alabasta, I was like, yo, is Bon Clay coming back? And you guys were like, I don't know, he might be, I don't know.
oh, and by the way, there's also, I mean, a
That's
very
what
lovable comic relief character that shows back up in this arc that I think everybody loves way earlier in the story, and that's, of course, Mr. 3. And I guess Buggy too. I guess.
Oh,
Suppose.
yeah, Mr. 3.
I
Bro,
guess.
this
Are you
is the
kidding
arc.
me?
What a legend.
We
I
got to
was
see
gonna
the
say,
PK himself.
Before we jump into the meat and potatoes, I think it's important to say that this week's chapters are 525 to 549, Impel
Yes.
Down arc, and next week is straight fire, the Marineford arc.
I mean, it's-
550 to 580.
5 out of 10. It's okay.
What
Shut
chapter is there now? What chapters?
550 to 580.
550 to
Oh.
580. And I
30
can't
chapters,
believe.
but 30
can't-
chapters. I know, right? It sounds way more than it is.
Wait, that's the entire arc?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was the first part.
no,
I thought we were
bro.
doing it in
know,
2
Marineford
stages.
is really short.
Wow.
There is actually in Marineford, there are just so many double page spreads where there's so much crap going on in one page that the anime just expanded on that. There's way more anime episodes, I think, than chapters, but it's such a huge arc.
What I was saying was like I couldn't believe is that we're already at Marineford. Like I feel like we
Yep.
just started this podcast and we're
Yeah.
more than halfway through the show.
Yeah, I know, right? We have one more arc after Marineford, a little bit of an arc, and then after that, it's halfway. Yeah,
Damn. We'll have to do a recap filler episode after Marineford.
that would be the
Or
time to
after the
do
little
it.
arc.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
When,
what we
when
were
did you guys
saying.
start this podcast?
This year, at the beginning of the year, I think.
Okay, so January. Wow, that's pretty good. But so we could keep going. We could get into One Piece by the end of this year. That's possible.
This is episode 26. So yeah, it's been crazy, guys. Yeah, I'm very excited. And if you do like the podcast, the best thing you can do to support us is share it around, share it with your friends, and spread the word so that we can keep this thing going. Thank you. Appreciate
Share it with people you don't even know to get them into this too.
Bro.
Yeah. And pressure Tekking to share it to his millions of One Piece fans.
Millions of One Piece fans, 500,000 One Piece fans.
All
But yeah,
40 million of Tekking's One Piece fans.
All
Yes.
7.8 billion of One Pieces.
all
Tekken
7.8
fans.
people on this planet, the babies that are being born right now, need to know about One Piece.
No, they need to know about this podcast.
At the podcast, well,
Before
have
they
to
even know what One Piece is, they need to
Yeah,
know
like,
about the One
We,
Piece.
we want
version.
them listening to this podcast right out the womb and maybe read One Piece somewhere down the line. But in
So if
any
you are,
case,
if you're pregnant, please just put on your headphones onto your baby bump, and so the babies will know about the. That's gonna turn out great.
Yeah, and this is the arc in which Buggy the Clown becomes Buggy the Clown.
Oh yeah, 100%. Well,
No,
next
no,
arc, too.
next
Oh,
arc
no,
even
no,
more.
no,
What are you
no.
crazy, bro?
Yeah, this arc is the beginnings. Yeah.
Next arc, he becomes the Pirate King, and then what's it called? Luffy has to go and kill Buggy to become the Pirate King.
It was a pretty big twist. None of us expected it, but none of us were disappointed.
I mean, that's what Wano is about right now. It's just about, Buggy.
Will Luffy finally be able to catch up to Buggy?
Yeah, it's rough.
Answer, no.
Thank you,
no,
Lad.
it isn't. Yeah.
Thank you, Lad, Juzo, and the Anime Stoner for the 1,000 bits and 1,050 bits. Appreciate you guys.
All right, Animac. Enough. We've been off topic for a while. Where does this
We've been
arc start
on
off?
topic, but yeah, let's go into the arc itself. So, first of all, I just want to commend Oda so much for setting up this arc in terms of like a writing perspective and just a storytelling perspective. He creates what appears to be an absolutely impregnable prison, like the likes of which we've never seen. It's like Dante's Circles of Hell.
It is.
Yep,
Yeah.
Underground, underwater,
Exactly.
and it's like there's all these people defending it. There's all this craziness. No way they're gonna escape. And then Oda sets it up so that they do escape, and he makes it believable because of all the players and all the events that are happening at the same time. It's brilliant, brilliant story.
I am a huge sucker for the anime trope of we need to go through the different levels of a building. I love it. Like,
Bro, it's crazy.
level 1, level 2, and then we
Hell
have to get
yeah.
to level 3. It's the simplest character. It's the simplest.
It's the
plot for
simple.
any-
It's the Sword Art Online, like
Yeah, I
Aincrad
know,
vibe,
but
and
even
it's like,
Sword
oh
Art
my
Online
god,
didn't do it as well as this. Sword Art Online skipped over like 50 freaking levels. Like, this
Yeah.
would have been perfect. I love it.
Now this arc is fire.
That's great.
Speaking
This
of
is,
fire, Luffy murders people in this arc.
Oh no, yeah, no, straight up. He knocks people into the lava. They're dead. Luffy
Yeah, they're
straight
dead.
up kills people.
The
It's
end.
like, yeah.
Rip them.
Yeah, this is. I started reading One Piece weekly back in 2009 with this arc. So this
Oh,
is like,
nice.
yeah, this is where I kind of started after the 4Kids dub. So, yeah,
Thank you, Stealth, for the bits. Appreciate you.
got the bits.
Yeah, so that's the setup, and then we have the whole Luffy infiltrates with Boa Hancock's help, and as the question corners reveal, not only was Luffy under her coat, he was also under her skirt.
Yeah,
Of course. And everyone was happy about this situation, including the fans.
this is
Yeah.
a skill that no one on the planet could do except for Luffy. Because you find out we saw that from Amazon Lily last week, but when Boa Hancock uses her love powers on women, it still works just as well, like with Domino. So,
Oh, yeah.
if anybody else was under her cloak, they wouldn't have been able to survive. But Luffy alone was able to make it work.
Bro, Boa Hancock has given erections to millions of women across the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Luffy is an absolute Chad. He's so focused on his dreams that nothing else gets in the way. Although, I don't know, man. I think that he might end up ending up with Hancock. It's just from a storytelling perspective, they really do seem to be a perfect match.
Well,
We'll
you'll
see.
see where it goes. But yeah, I love the way Oda, basically, he doesn't just use the Boa Hancock thing as a plot device and get her out of there. No, they kind of follow two paths when they first enter the prison, like Luffy going through the original levels, and then Boa just immediately going all the way down to where Ace is, and have little plot with that as well.
Yeah.
So Luffy, when he first enters, he doesn't have much of a plan other than getting in with Hancock's help.
He doesn't even
then-
know where Ace is held. He has no
Yeah.
idea where even what level he's on. Yeah.
Correct. But then he ends up encountering several allies along the way, some of them willing, some of them not so much, including Buggy, Mr. 3, and of course, Bon Clay, the Chad of Chads.
Oh, yes.
What a bro. Bon Clay is such a bro.
Bon Clay has changed the meaning of Chad to an
friend for
entirely
life.
different thing.
What's the upgraded version of Chad, Nux?
What, Bon Clay?
Yeah, what's
Man,
the no, what's
Chad is the top tier. That's the epitome of.
There's
of
nothing
life.
above a Chad. There's not like a super mecha Chad.
It goes
or anything.
God, then Chad.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what Bon Clay is.
It goes
He's
Pirate
a-
King, God, Chad.
Yeah.
Okay,
Little-
I think the best little part about this arc, not best, I'm just playing, but why does Magellan have diarrhea? It's amazing.
Oh, because
He eats poison.
because he's
amazing.
immune to poison, so he can't die from poison, but he only likes food that is poisoned. So he eats poisoned food, he can't die, but if you ingest poison, you're gonna get the runs because it's poison. So that's what he
Dude,
gets.
the funniest thing is you have this whole mini plot that means absolutely nothing in the long run of people trying to overthrow the warden to become the warden.
I know.
Yeah, Hannibal.
It's like, hey,
Hannibal,
bro, Hannibal.
That's
dude,
more of a joke, if anything.
it was a
but
joke.
yeah.
It was a spoof. It was like trying to make was trying to make light of this whole situation. And what can I say? At the end of the day, it meant absolutely zip, but Magellan was terrifying anyway.
I find it hilarious that, like, if Magellan would just lay off the poison food, he would be immensely powerful, and he's already powerful. Like, we just had Luffy get, like, the whole Straw Hats get defeated at Sabaody, and, like, 2 arcs later, Luffy also just gets handily that does not happen very often.
Right, I was gonna mention, Luffy very seldom gets slapped that hard.
Crocodile and Sabaody, where the whole crew got separated, and then here is so far.
Well, I mean, he kind of lost to the CP9 also at first.
I mean, it wasn't as hard. It wasn't getting. He didn't slap that hard.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like here, he was like obliterated.
Oh yeah, he was knocked out. He was like almost dead. Yeah,
I think this is honestly the second time since Crocodile. Even in Sabaody, we didn't feel like Luffy was manhandled.
Right. Okay. So to the point where Luffy's like in danger of dying, it was Crocodile, and then this with Magellan so far, and then that was like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, I have a little quiz for Animac here. Is Magellan a Logia user or a Paramecia user?
Well, he is a Paramecia user.
Yes. Good job.
Nice.
Because his whole body doesn't turn to poison.
Yes. Correct. Good job. You win 8 million points.
Can I get 8 million berries?
But, well, in order to win the prize, you need to have 100 billion. It's kind of like an arcade where you have to win 1 million tickets to get like a plastic kazoo. But you're getting there.
No, but I do want to say that I thought that Magellan was incredibly overpowered. Like his devil fruit. The problem with his devil fruit is that it leaves so much collateral damage. But in general, it's super overpowered. And
he's also a whole new species, by the way. Like we've never seen this like hellspawn looking dude.
They're like devil humans. Like they don't ever explain like they're actually species, but
I mean, I'm sure they will.
They're like they're subsets of humans. Yeah, no,
I'm
that's
sure
what
they'll
they
explain it in Wano though. We met another one.
I mean, you guys got to see Moria. Moria is technically human, and that's not a human. You know what I mean?
I mean,
I was gonna actually say that because I've noticed that just in terms of sheer size, a lot of characters are just incredibly gigantic compared to other characters.
The way I always justify that is because giants exist in One Piece. There was like crossbreeding between the species at some points, and so they might have like giant, like Whitebeard might have giants in his lineage way back. Like that would make more sense. You know, that's what I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes sense. I would think that. You know, everyone's loving everyone over there. It's crazy. So Magellan's whole thing, I interpreted it as because he is a poison human or whatever, he has this craving to ingest poison because of that, and that ends up giving him diarrhea. So it's kind of connected. It's not just that, he wants to ingest poison, it's he kind of has the need to.
Okay.
I always thought of it like the only foods that taste really good for him are the poison ones. So he's like, he just can't give it up. It's like a bad habit, you know?
And he likes to try different types of poison as well.
Yeah.
It's like he's like a foodie for poison.
The way I was looking at it was because he's so overpowered, he has to have some kind of weaknesses. And I was thinking that maybe the fact that he has to have diarrhea 8 hours a day is one of the weaknesses.
Well, part of the reason why he's so overpowered is because he's just, he's trained hard kind of thing. Like, He's awakened. What can I say?
Well, I mean, like, his power is so... All you have to do is just, like... He had that technique called a chloroball. Like, he just pops out, like, chlorine gas. Just, like, whenever... Like, if you do that, you're gonna, like, knock everybody out. Like, you're not gonna be able to fight with that. You know what I mean? It's just a large area of effect techniques.
Yeah, he's basically like a weapon of mass destruction.
Yeah, but anyway, I feel like even though Magellan's awesome, he is not nearly the best part of this arc.
So as Luffy is kind of going down the levels, he's meeting potential allies and enemies as he goes. And so we know that wherever Ace is being hidden, all the way down there, we also have Jinbei, one of the warlords, who was taken prisoner because he refused to support the war. We have Crocodile down there and a bunch of other powerful people as well. So as Luffy makes his way down, he ends up meeting new people, making them into his allies, and eventually it all turns into an epic prison break. As they are trying to escape the prison, they're releasing all the other prisoners. All the prisoners are joining them, creating a massive riot, and it's just absolute
a riot the likes of which we've never seen before.
No, the likes of each you've never seen before, because you're forgetting a most amazing character here, Animac.
Are you talking about Ivankov?
Yes, Emporio Ivankov.
First of all, Emporio, great name.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I mean, like, you gotta, like, from my perspective, like, I'm reading this Prison Break arc, okay? And I hadn't read One Piece in a while. And I'm just reading this. And then, like, they're in hell. And all of a sudden, they end up in this awesome nightclub out of nowhere. And, like, there's dancing going on. And Emporio's there. And I'm like, what is going on here? And, oh my God, I just love this arc.
Yeah, so Ivankov is quite the character. Because, so what ends up happening is somehow Ivankov and his crew have met, not crew, but like people he met at the jail. They managed to find a secret passageway between levels 5 and 6 where they have their own sort of like prisoner's paradise that the guards don't know about. They just assume that these missing prisoners disappeared, but in fact they're actually kind of living freely and just having fun within the prison. They can't escape, but they're hiding. And Luffy stumbles upon that and Bon Clay on their journey to save Ace. And then because Luffy is almost dead because of the poison, Ivankov, the miracle worker, ends up helping to cure him by using his hormone fruit or whatever, which can manipulate people's hormones, including other people's hormones. So part of that is he can change characters from male to female, including himself, which I thought it was bad and that I was confused when I would see like hot gender bends of like Lelouch and like Kamina. But this is worse, bro. Now, Ivankov could turn all of our male characters into hot waifus.
Actually, you know what? Oda and an SBS has already drawn them as hot waifus because someone sent him that SBS. But what would happen if Ivankov gender swapped the crew and Oda just drew it? So there you go. You can look forward to that.
I saw that, and I will say that female Zoro with the short hair looks very cute.
Oh, she's adorable. Yeah,
absolutely. Anyway, so Ivankov, very confusing, but his hormone ability also has the ability to heal others by boosting their immune system. So this is what he does to Luffy, and Luffy uses his sheer willpower and the boost that Ivankov gives him to defeat the poison. But I had an important question because Luffy manages to do this in record time, and then he needs to ingest a bunch of meat afterwards to recover. Is this just a plot device, or does Luffy have some kind of hidden power for recovery that is based on humans?
Yeah, it's called being the main character of the story, if we're being straight up. No, it's like, what Ivankov does is he can't just cure the poison. What he can do is bolster Luffy's immune system to a point where it can handle it, but it's still his willpower. And we know Luffy's willpower is just insane at this point. So he's able to do it in like less than a day or something. And also Bon Clay helped out big time though, because Bon Clay was like cheering for like 10 hours straight.
Until his throat bled.
Yeah. So that was a huge boost. But after it was over, he just needs to eat a lot of food and he's fine. And he still needs the adrenaline shot, but he's Luffy.
Okay, yeah. So I wanted to ask that because the whole I ingest a bunch of meat and then I recover faster doesn't seem to be related to his devil fruit. So I was wondering.
What are you talking about? That's what they call science, Animac. Learn a thing or two about it.
He also lost 10 years off of his life, which that's not the first time that's happened to Luffy, but you know.
That's true. No, I was just wondering whether he had some other hidden power that we didn't know about that was like, I eat meat and then I have superhuman Wolverine powers.
Speaking of hidden powers, didn't we get to see him use a certain type of hockey again in this arc?
Maybe next arc is what you're thinking of.
Well, he uses it in Amazon Lily.
Oh, no. He uses,
against the crowd. But then against the wolves, right?
Yeah, he uses it against the wolves,
Yeah, so we get to see it again. There's like 3 arcs back to back. We get to see it against something against the bull in Sabayori, and then you get to see it in Amazon Lily against the crowd of people, and he doesn't even realize he did it. And then now against the wolves, which I think he also didn't realize he did it.
Yeah, he does. It's the same ability that Rayleigh used, but we don't know the name of it yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bro, I have to say that Bon Clay, after he did his crying and stuff and his screaming and cheering, and is like, Bon Clay, how could you do this? Why would you do something like that? Because we're friends! I don't need any other reason! Chan, I came to help you in the name of friendship! And he's like dying, half frozen, frostbite all over his body. This man is the ultimate epitome of everything you want in a bro. And that doesn't even come close to the absolute mastery he pulled at the end.
Yes, exactly. So he was already, inching up to be the MVP. And then at the end, what he pulls. And basically what he does is Bon Clay sacrifices himself. He stays behind, pretends to be the warden in order to open the gates of justice and allow the other prison breakers to escape. Absolutely great Chadness, heartbreaking, emotional, beautiful. He's a beautiful man.
Dude, and when he turns into Magellan at the end there, and then the actual Magellan walks up behind him, and he's just like 5 feet taller.
Yeah, I love it.
He looks up to a much bigger Magellan, and he just like picks his foot up over his head in that ballet thing, and like it looks like Magellan still. He's in that weird pose, and Magellan's just looking at him like, "None the frick is happening right now."
It's mine now. And I love how Magellan just kind of stares at him and just like, "Do you have any last words?"
And right, so he asked him, "Do you have any last words?" And Bon Clay was just like, "It leaves its petals as mementos. May it bloom one day again. Oh, come away." And then you imagine
come away, boys. I have goosebumps.
Come my way.
And then he gets slaughtered by Magellan.
I love the comedy. I love. Well, you don't know that. You don't know that yet.
Yeah, I'm assuming that he's alive because Luffy was like, maybe he's alive.
Maybe. By the way, Briggs, feel free to look at our Discord chat.
Oh man. But there's so much other stuff to
the
unpack
Rant Cafe
here.
one.
Like, oh, okay.
Go ahead.
No, it's all good. I posted like some key scenes and stuff from the art.
Neat. So much else to unpack. Animac, what did you think about Jinbei? Because he's the last warlord to have properly introduced. He was the first one mentioned, but the last one to be actually revealed like 500 chapters later.
Yeah, so from him...
Right, so he was actually mentioned in the Arlong Park arc, right?
Yeah, he was. That was the first... No, the second warlord mentioned after Mihawk, and then he was the last one revealed. Yeah.
Yeah, so what I thought of him is he seems like a really noble, like, honorable person. And he owes a lot to Edward Newgate, a.k.a. Whitebeard. It was explained that Whitebeard saved Fishman Island because it became chaotic as people started using it. All the pirates in the new age of the pirates started using it for like themselves and, you know, causing chaos. And then
because it's the only way to get to the new world.
Yes.
So I love how Oda does that. He's like, the only way to get to the new world is Fishman Island. I'm like, well, obviously you'd think it'd be overrun by pirates. And it was until, you know, Whitebeard showed up.
Yeah, so Whitebeard comes and he puts the island under his personal protection, which protects the fishmen from this type of abuse.
Bro, doesn't that just make you love Whitebeard more?
Jinbei is forever grateful for this.
Yeah.
Dude, doesn't that just make you think like, bro, Whitebeard, holy crap, this man is a legend.
So from what I'm seeing right now, Whitebeard seems to be a pirate, but a noble pirate, whereas you have other pirates who are just greedy.
Oh, he is a pirate with a very, very strict code of honor.
And speaking of strict code of honor, Jinbei, when he's first introduced, he's like all bloodied up, tied down with chains and stuff, and Ace is like, yo, bro, you look like you're suffering here. And Jinbei's like, no, it's not my body that hurts. Ace, what hurts is my heart that can't enforce my justice. And if I can't stop this war, I have no need for my life either. And it's like, bruh, this is how you're introducing this
great way to introduce this.
God damn.
Beautiful. And Ace unfortunately doesn't get to do much in this arc because he's chained to a wall for most of it. But I do love his conversations. That it's like a philosophical conversations that him and Ace have a lot. Ace and Jinbei have like locked in the cell together for a good chunk of this arc. It's good too.
Yes, and we learned some stuff about Ace and Luffy's father. We learned that Ivankov is a commander, one of the commanders of the Revolutionary Forces, so a comrade of Dragon. And we learned that Ace considers Whitebeard to be his only father. So clearly Dragon is himself a complex character because on the one hand he is respected by many, and yet his own family seems to kind of not really respect him.
In Luffy's case, he doesn't know Dragon very well, and you get the impression Luffy doesn't really care that Dragon is his dad. I'm not going to give anything else away. It'll be revealed in the next arc about what's up with Ace. But
I did like the fact that at first Ivankov's like, hey, you're trying to do this crazy escape, you know, good luck, but we're not doing it. We're waiting for a better time. Sorry. But it was only after Luffy reveals kind of accidentally that Dragon is his father. That's when Ivankov's like, okay, well, he's my comrade. I remember when he used to, you know, look east to his family. So it is my duty to help his sons.
So what was your initial reaction to they get to the bottom of Impel Down to try and find Ace originally, and then you just see Crocodile standing there? Yeah. He's like, hey, Luffy, you want to team up?
Remember me?
Remember me? And Luffy's like, wait a second, you're the guy that almost destroyed Vivi's country. And he's like, well, we don't talk about that anymore.
Yeah, I don't really care about Alabasta anymore. It didn't have what I wanted.
Bro, what was your reaction to seeing Crocodile again? Because he was a pretty terrifying villain in his own right at that point.
So Crocodile, I'm not a super big fan of this guy, but I think it was a cool way for him to be helpful to the breakout because he's obviously has a Logia Devil Fruit. He's a former warlord, so it's cool that he is part of the breakout. But to me, he wasn't like a star of the show here.
So I find that interesting because for me, I remember at that point, I was just so excited because every little piece and detail in the world of One Piece that you're getting familiar with, it's gonna be brought back up and it's gonna be pretty badass. And at this point in time, I think Crocodile was probably my favorite villain in One Piece so far because I remember I really, really liked him when I first watched Alabasta. I mean, at this point, he's not even like top 5, but at this point I really, really liked him, so I was really psyched to see him come back. And you had this really weird impromptu gang, being that the Straw Hats aren't around, so Luffy needed his own gang. He had Jinbei, Crocodile, Ivankov, and that dude with the scissor things.
Inazuma.
That guy?
Yeah.
Bro, that weird ragtag team, as they're just walking down the halls and everyone's like, wait a second. The former Shishibukai Crocodile, the intruder Monkey D. Luffy, an escapee from level 6 Jinbei, the revolutionary. We thought Ivankov was dead. Like, what is even happening?
I mean, hey, man, if you don't have your crew, you got to make a crew.
And that's what he did, bro. Yeah. And then Buggy takes all the credit for everything like the absolute legend he is.
Well, Buggy and Luffy both get the credit for this, but everybody else, like, they give more credit to Buggy and Luffy than they do to the Crocodile and Jinbei, which I find hilarious.
Yeah. And I think Crocodile and Jinbei were locked up. They only did what they did because of Luffy. What's his name? Buggy was really, really trying to take some massive credit for all of this. I mean, even at the end, when he's like, wait a second, so we have no way to escape and we have to fight? Then he turns around. If you're a man, come and chase my dream with me today. I will take Whitebeard's head, and with it, the world.
and everybody just immediately just rallies behind him.
Of course, he's this dude. He broke out of Impel Down. He's gonna take down Whitebeard, and they're like, "Oh my god!"
I mean, I would be following Buggy at a time like now. Would you not be? Of course, I would.
And this is what I mean by Oda really created a meme within his own world. Buggy is a meme in the One Piece world itself, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, that is correct. But one thing I will say, though, is I was very curious to see what is going to happen now that the crew has been split up, right? How, obviously, on his own, Luffy can't perform this jailbreak. It doesn't make sense.
Right, we just said it's because of Buggy.
Yeah, but the fact that he was able to meet all these powerful allies in Impel Down, which makes perfect sense why they're there, I thought that was a stroke of genius by Oda. And then he teams up all these people that would never have teamed up in any other situation in a cool way. And it's just epic action. Like this, other than the Bon Clay part, this arc isn't super emotional, but it's so action-packed and interesting, and it's clearly a setup for the next arc.
Did this man disregard the Bon Clay part?
I said
right?
I said other than the Bon Clay part.
Bro.
In your ear.
What are you going to say now? He's just a ballerina.
He's just like swan, bro.
He is a beautiful swan.
Just like Mary was just a ship, Bon Clay's just a swan.
Bon Clay is superior to them going Mary.
That should be a video.
I mean, let's be honest. Bon Clay would ride you, and you'd ride the going Mary.
Oh my god. What about freaking Blackbeard? Yeah, he does stuff here.
Yeah,
that's right.
So that's
I know. There's so much to unpack with this. Yeah.
First, we have this whole riot going on and massive jailbreak, but that's not enough to really push it over the edge. We then have Blackbeard and his crew attacking the outside, breaking through the exit, and then adding that additional rationale for how they were able to escape. And we even have a brief but pretty impactful showdown between Blackbeard and Luffy that I thought was really great.
I love it.
So Blackbeard had a lot of really impressive moments in this arc, aside from just his actual fighting, ideologically. And you see, like, he has this weird master plan in the works. You'd think that once he got Ace to the world government and he became a warlord, you'd think that was the end goal. But you now see that really becoming a warlord and handing Ace over to the government is just like moving his pawn up. He says the One Piece exists even though it's impossible, and in a few short hours we'll put on a show that will shake the entire world.
Yes,
he has this crazy scheme.
And yet, even though he has this amazing scheme, this multi-plan, multifaceted thing, immediately he just walks right into Magellan and gets poisoned and almost killed.
Dude, he gets what I love about his introductions, he gets walloped in every single fight. Ace,
I love it.
I mean, he beat Ace, but Ace, Ace definitely singed some of his chest hairs,
Oh no, he caused some serious pain. Yeah.
Dude, Luffy smashed his ass off.
Luffy hit him, yes.
Luffy hit him so hard, he saw his future generations tremble.
And when Luffy hit him, did he know that he was Blackbeard?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, yeah. He knew.
Yeah, he finally realizes who Blackbeard really is in this part, and he realizes that he was the one that took Ace and brought him in and all that type of stuff. And I'm very intrigued in terms of what Blackbeard is actually planning, because you're right, Nux. He points out that in a few short hours, our plan will be unveiled, the world will change, and it's like, what? Why? Why did he break into Impel down? He just became a warlord, so why is he making enemies with the government?
Right. You'd think one of the great, high points of becoming a warlord is you're pretty much getting this immunity.
Yes.
Right? That's really such an amazing thing that almost any pirate would die for. The Marines are after them, but he's getting immunity. He could still act as a pirate as long as he doesn't do overly heinous things. Like, we see the warlords have a lot of freedom to do whatever they want. The seas kind of belong to them, at least not in the New World.
Look at Boa and the Kuja pirates. Like, she could do whatever she wants because she's a warlord.
Right.
But there are
protect the entire island.
This man,
turn Marines to stone and get away with it.
Look at the setup that this guy was making until now. He kills a Whitebeard dude to get a fruit. He runs away. He fights Ace. He delivers Ace to the Marines. He becomes a warlord because he gave a commander of Whitebeard to the Marines. So right at this point, you'd think that could potentially be the end goal. He got his devil fruit. He got crazy status. What more could he be after? And then he breaks into Impel Down. What? He just spit in the face of everything he ever did.
Guess we're just gonna have to wait to find out.
So was it revealed at all why he did this yet or
no? Not yet. Not yet.
And he has this triumphant laugh wherever he's going. It's like everything is going exactly as planned.
I've become a warlord, and now I will throw away my title of warlord. It's going exactly as I planned it. I love it.
Ha 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 ha.
And just straight up, he would have died. His whole crew would have died if Shiryu didn't show up and help them. So Shiryu gets introduced, by the way. He's going to be important later.
So he was a guard who was so sadistic that he ended up being imprisoned down in the lowest level, right?
Yeah, even Magellan really couldn't rein him in, so he locked him up, and then he was the original chief guard. It was said that when Magellan is terrifying, but because he has diarrhea so damn much, Shiryu is the more terrifying one. He's stronger. Just because of that.
And he randomly is like, you know what, Blackbeard, I'm going to join your crew.
I mean,
can you blame him? It's either that or go back and getting locked in the cell.
Or he could have joined Luffy, but he didn't want to take the high road and join Luffy.
Oh, no,
yeah, well, he doesn't seem like a Luffy type of guy.
No, he does not.
He is not. That is good because he does not.
I did think Blackbeard's philosophy was cool. It was almost like an evil Kamina because he's like, so they said the Sky Islands were impossible, but you went there, Luffy. And then he's like, they say the One Piece doesn't exist, but I know it exists. So he was kind of like, he's as much of a dreamer as Luffy.
Dude, he has
spitting facts.
They both have the will of D. It's just different perspectives.
Right. We know his name is Marshall D. Teach. Like and we don't know what that means yet, but from what we've seen so far of Blackbeard, and he hasn't played any massive roles directly as far as the story goes so far. He was kind of like a background, independent
waiting for
dude.
The devil fruit that he needed.
That's been guiding fate. But even in the Jaya arc, their first introduction, I was so excited when I reread Jaya. Basically, he eats pie, and Luffy eats something like a muffin. And he's like, oh, I hate the pie. And Luffy's like, oh, I hate the muffin. But then it turns out Luffy loves the pie and Blackbeard loves the muffin. So they're like completely opposite people. And it was every single interaction they had in Jaya that just showed them as complete opposites. He spurred Luffy forward to go look for Sky Island. He's like the anti-Luffy. He has this crazy idealism that Luffy does. He's just using it for his maniacal purposes, and Luffy's doing it in the name of freedom. But for all you know, maybe Blackbeard has the same exact goal as Luffy, just through a much more sinister outlook. I love the contrast between Blackbeard and
now
Luffy.
that you put it that way, I feel like I relate to Blackbeard.
Because Pokemon, you wouldn't want to be the Pokemon master.
I like
you would
the
want to
way-
take over the world.
I like the way that Oda does it, where it's just like not everybody that has the will of D has the same. They have the same drive toward freedom, but it's different ways that they try to get toward freedom. And Blackbeard has a much more burn the whole world down kind of perspective, you know? It's just nuts.
And like Jaguar D. Saul, his for the sake of freedom, he sacrificed himself.
Yeah, Jaguar D. Saul and Garp are the only members of the Will of D that are Marines that we know of. So that's really interesting.
Well, Garp also it's been very much alluded to that he likes to be a free man.
Yeah, that's why he stays as a vice admiral, because that gives him, he didn't want to be promoted, because that's
Right.
more control they have over him.
I wasn't going to say that because it's a spoiler, but you said it. So
Well, I mean, like, not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I feel like if I was in the world of One Piece and I had a devil fruit, I would be a lot more Machiavellian.
Actually, you know what? That doesn't count as a spoiler, because that was revealed in the Strong World chapter, which was released around the time Impel Down Arc came out, because that was when the movie came out. So, bam!
No, it was not. What are you saying? It was revealed in like chapter 970.
No,
or
it
something.
wasn't. No. It was revealed in the Strong World Chapter 0 when Aokiji was the Vice Admiral. He said to Garp, he's like, hey, man, Garp, you should get promoted. And Garp's like, nah, I don't want that. I will stay a Vice Admiral. So there you go.
But it didn't say why.
Oh, it's the same reason. We all know why.
Okay, why? Because it's chapter 970. Tekking spoiled it. Chat, rip him to shreds. No, I'm kidding.
Now,
I'm kidding. I love
spoilers,
Tekking.
so let's move on. As I was saying, I feel like
All right.
if I was in the world of One Piece and I had a devil fruit, I would be a lot more Machiavellian than
Oh, God. Everybody
who
was.
is just kind of like very innocent and pure. So in that sense, I guess I can relate to Blackbeard, but I have to know what his goals are first, because he's obviously doing some crazy shit, but is it something like that I would agree with? We'll see.
Bam, bam, bam. And then, of course, I mean, he had one of the greatest arcs ever. And now you can see why Tekking loves this arc so much.
Oh, I just love it. It's great. Oh, and then they have to escape the prison with a giant acid demon coming after them.
Yeah,
I mean,
that does
that's
happen.
like, yeah. And then the
And
way
Luffy kicks it.
Yeah, Luffy kicks it. They use the wax shield. That was really Luffy turns into a wax mech. That was pretty cool. But the final, actually, you know what? The climax of this arc is freaking phenomenal, because Magellan is smart in how he tries to prevent them from escaping, because he's like, okay, there's battleships surrounding the place. They're obviously going to try to get on one of those and escape. Just pull all the battleships away, and then they're going to be stuck. They can't leave.
Yeah.
And then Jinbei shows up with his whale shark companions, and I'm like, you know what? That actually works. That actually makes sense. He's a damn fishman, which is not super common for that, but it's, they can summon the fish.
Dude, but he also, like, carrying that massive board, it was one of the most...
God!
It was one of the most heroic-looking manga panels of all time. He carried, like, these three absolute badasses. Crocodile, smoking, you had Mr. One behind him, and in front, you had Buggy D. Clown, standing triumphantly, smirking at the sea below him. This man was about to take on Zawardo.
Okay, we get you, man. But yeah,
Wow, you haven't seen anything yet, Animac. Buggy just keeps on going further and further.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll let you know, I'll just leave it with this. Like, yes, what's up?
I just want to say I think you're right about the brilliance of trying to move the ships away, because he's thinking many of these guys are devil fruit users. There's no way they can swim.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
because Jinbei is such a Chad, he manages to find a way.
Even
And
if you
even
could
after that,
swim, like, you couldn't do anything. It's like...
They still have the gates of justice, so
Yeah.
Magellan is thinking, like, okay, there's no way they're going to get through the battleships and the ocean and the Sea Kings and the freaking gates of justice. There's no way they could get out of here, but Oda spun it in a way to make it make sense. And I believe the last panel of this arc, when the last chapter ends, it says something along the lines of, like, okay, like 230-something prisoners escaped Impel Down. This was nothing more than just a prelude to the battle to come, or something like that.
Really? I thought the final panel was
Beautiful.
with Buggy saying, I'm going to go claim Whitebeard's head.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, that's the final panel, of course. That's a full-page spread, if I remember correctly.
I mean, it was beautiful. I cried.
Yeah, that was the whole chapter. There's just the whole chapter was one double-page spread of Buggy saying.
Yeah, it was a 20 pages all put side by side together to get as big of a Buggy face as
yes,
you possibly.
exactly. Yes.
Okay, if you Nux want to start a Buggy podcast, by all means.
This is always a Buggy podcast, Animac. You're only finally learning.
It's all Buggy.
You know the meme is like, wait a second, Buggy's the king of pirates all along, and then you have this the astronaut behind him with the gun. Always has been.
Yes.
Always has been. Yep.
By the way, I was wrong. The final panel is not that. The final panel is them walking Ace. Ace is chained up, and they're walking towards this big, platform.
Yeah, what a great setup, and what a great way, Tekking, as you said, for Oda to create this, like I said, inescapable prison, and then have all these little moving parts to make it all make sense, and so entertaining and so much action. Really, really good stuff. Big shout out on Twitter to Anyme for making our gender bend One Piece.
'Tis the Okama way.
Wow.
I love it. I'm Frankie in this, and they even included Barry, which is fantastic.
Tekking is Frankie. Zoro is Nux. Animac is Luffy. Oh, this is amazing. I'm Sanji. Let's go.
Yeah. And they actually make the sexy Luffy figurine if you want to get that Animac. That's a thing that exists that you could own and put the Kamina glasses on.
I mean, he wasn't with you until you mentioned that final bit there.
I don't know. I feel like Genderbend Zoro is more my type than Genderbend Luffy, but that's...
I am liking it, yeah.
Yeah, but I have to say, all in all, freaking awesome arc. And you could tell it's build up. Like, just like you could tell Water 7 was build up to Enies Lobby. You could tell that Impel Down is build up to Marineford. Even though in actuality, all of Sabaody, Amazon Lily, Impel Down, it's all just putting the pieces exactly where Oda wants them before this climax, which is literally the summit war.
Yeah, and some people in the chat are asking me about the dominatrix waifus.
Sadie, yeah.
Sadie and the other one with the eye patch.
Domino, who I think is way more dominatrixy than Sadie is, actually.
I don't know. Both of them are, top-notch waifus. I will say that. Like I said, when I first got into One Piece,
I just noticed this. Sadie's a sadist, and Domino's a dominatrix. No way.
That took me 10 years to figure out. You figured it out in less than 2 minutes. Good for you.
I figured it out right away too, because, like I said, One Piece, I never thought of it as being like a den of waifus, but it is, guys. It is.
Impel Down is just basically this big BDSM crack house.
Oda realized, hey, we're doing a prison. I got to get a little bit more kinky with this,
Yeah, let's not talk about the inspiration for the universe.
Just the geography of the prison. I mean, I don't know anyone that appreciates geography in One Piece quite like my boy Tekking. So I definitely think that the geography of Impel Down is amazing.
My series, Geography is Everything, I've done pretty much every single major island in all of One Piece, except Long Ling Wrong Land. That's the one I have yet to do, and I'm putting that off. The most popular video in that series, all of them together by far, is the Impel Down Geography is Everything.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be Architecture is Everything, Tekking?
No, Architecture is Geography, because is Architecture part of everything? Yes, then Geography is Everything.
Hey, I like you.
You got me. Also, Chad, stop asking me to talk about Ivankov female form, because
she is damn sexy.
I'm confused. I don't want to talk about it. Let's just say Tekking has a point. Anyway, moving on. All in all, I think the arc is pretty fire.
I would honestly give it a 10 out of 10, just because it's that's my personal fanboying coming out there, but 10 out of 10 for me.
You get really the wacky extravagance of One Piece, because very often we get like even in Impel and what's it called in Enies Lobby, we kept mentioning how there were some really powerful emotional scenes, but just so close to that emotional powerhouse, you have these just crazy hilarious moments that only work in One Piece. So recognizing the comedic aspect of One Piece and also the technical stuff right beside the emotional ones is some of what really makes One Piece shine. So I love how this whole arc was in a wacky, zany vibe. And even the emotional scenes like Bon Clay. Even those emotional scenes that tug at our heartstrings. Even though all that is there, it's all done through a lens of comedy that's just building up to the emotional high point of Marineford.
Yeah, so One Piece is just brilliant when it comes to mixing up comedy and lightheartedness and serious situations, life-threatening situations, emotions. It really is amazing. Tekking, let me ask you, so if Ivankov changes someone's gender, does
Yes.
that last forever?
No. We don't see. Well, he did it to himself. He went from a man to a woman, back to a man again.
But he
we've
did it
never,
to someone
we've
else
never,
at
Yeah.
the secret area.
yeah, he can turn people into, he can turn women into men too. It's just you never see it in the arc. There's also something else that was picked up, and that was when they were enlisting Crocodile's help. Luffy's like, we can't trust that guy, and Ivankov's like, oh, don't worry, Straw Hat Boy. I know he has a secret that I know very well, and he'll listen to me. And so that is one of the big mysteries of Crocodile's character that we still don't know to this day, like 11 years later. What is the secret that Ivankov? So that leads to the whole theory that Crocodile used to be a woman.
Oh
and
my
I've
god,
seen this,
Croco boy might be Croco girl.
I have seen every permeation of this theory that Crocodile's actually Luffy's mom. Like, it's crazy the number of theories that exist around that. But that's where it started right there.
Yeah, well, if it makes sense, if Ivankov's gender bends can last forever, and let's say Crocodile was a woman, but she wanted to be taken more seriously as a warlord, and
Oh, are you asking if it's just temporary when he does it? No. If he changes me to a woman, I'm stuck like that until he changes me back.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
That's how it
case, the Crocodile theory could work.
Yes.
But, it could be, the secret could be anything. It's just because of Ivankov's power, we're thinking it's that, but it might not be. Might be really.
Bruh, maybe Luffy's dad is Luffy's mom.
Yeah, that's also a theory that Dragon is somehow both.
God damn, that's taking
no, but wasn't Luffy's mom introduced by name already?
No,
not yet.
I thought she was. I thought Garp said something about her name.
No, he didn't.
Don't challenge Tekking on this.
Chat, am I crazy? I thought they said something about Luffy's
mom. Cover stories.
I'm not saying anything until we get to the time skip, and I'll say something about this.
There's a time skip. Tekking, you ruin everything.
So Dadan was not the name of his mother, because that's what I interpret.
No, Dadan is not Luffy's biological mother. No.
Okay, cool. I just want to clear that.
That's all I'm gonna say for right now. Yeah.
Kaido versus Shanks in the cover stories.
No, it's not in the cover stories. It's mentioned.
It's mentioned, but it's offhand, and it's
so
not.
It's mentioned, I think, in Marineford at greater length, but I think it was mentioned briefly in.
It was
in Impel Down that Kaido is coming or something.
Okay, I don't know what to say. I remember them talking about what happened, and I don't know what happened in Impel Down specifically, and I know they elaborate in Marineford, like you said. So maybe we shouldn't.
Yeah, it'll get more into detail.
We'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, you'll see the results of
that.
Dude,
what the hell are we going to do next week? Should we split Marineford into two? I really don't want to.
No, it's only 30 chapters. It's like
we'll
have to do like a 2-hour podcast.
There's a lot of shit packed in those 30 chapters.
Yeah, that's the thing. You remember we've had 10 chapter arcs that were like an hour-long discussion. So you guys.
Yeah, I know. I split it up. Right, the post-Ennis lobby arc had so much going on, but Marineford is much more contained. Everything that goes on is kind of on the table. It's just.
Yes, you guys can make that call then, because I don't know.
Well, I mean, this arc was 25 chapters, and it hasn't even been like it's been like 45 minutes.
Yeah, actually, it's 5 o'clock. I got to get going, guys, because I have to be at a place by 6. So
sounds good. Yeah,
thank you so much for having me on again. Anytime,
bro. Hell yeah.
When you do the retrospective at the time skip or whatever, just let me know, and I will be there. Love Impel Down, guys. 10 out of 10 arc. Buggy for life. See you guys. Signing out.
See you, bro.
Later, come away.
I would call probably a 9 out of 10 for this arc, just because it is a setup arc, so you can't get that emotional catharsis that you do in the kind of finale type arcs.
Pretty weak mindset anime.
But 9 out of 10, I would say.
I think this arc is top 5 One Piece arcs for me. I think it made the top 5.
I think that when it comes to build-up arcs, you have to treat it as a build-up arc. It could be a 10 out of 10 build-up arc.
Well, if you split it up, then yes, I agree.
So the reason why I'm mentioning it is I think that you should be hesitant on giving it a score until you see Marineford. After you finish Marineford, then you could vote on if all the build-up was actually a 10 out of 10 or not.
Or maybe just rank the sagas then.
Bro, we're going to rank the sagas! Dude, I love this. I mean, for me, the Marineford saga and the Ennis Lobby saga are both 10 out of 10s. So the hype is real.
So it won't be a long ranking process.
Bro, I told you when we were doing the Hunter x Hunter ranking, it's like my ranking scale is from 0 to One Piece because there's too many 10 out of 10 One Piece arcs.
Yeah, I agree, man. Like for One Piece, it was definitely overhyped for me, but it meets that hype. For Hunter x Hunter, it did not.
So then One Piece was not overhyped for you. It was appropriately hyped for you.
Yes, but I'm saying don't do the One Piece treatment to every other show, man. You just can't. You can't do it.
I would never.
Almost nothing competes with One Piece. That's just a fact. That's why it's the king of manga.
And like the great thing about like something like Gurren Lagann, to me, it's an amazing anime, but it's so short. So it's a great narrative, but it's so short. The impressive thing about One Piece is how long the narrative is, and yet it still manages to be so compelling and so creative and so interesting. So that is 100% really, really impressive.
If anything, the length actually works in One Piece's favor because Oda is a master of world building, and the story is a journey around the world, an adventure around the world. Every island's its own adventure. It's honestly its own, like, it could be its own anime, every island. And he combines this all together with his amazing world building and developing literally like characters and from across the world, right? And it has all these different systems at play. Everything's constantly moving, and it works in favor when you have the length and the chapters to do so.
Yeah, but
and especially because so much of the draw, aside from the world building on a like physical level, you have so many political systems. Exactly. You have all these crazy, ideological ecosystems. There's so many ways to look at anything. It's just a fantastic story.
I feel like if One Piece was a little bit more simplistic, it wouldn't work as a long-running story. And I feel like that's a lot of the reason why long-running shonens kind of get boring over time is because you're really just there for the fights and the characters, and here you're there for a lot more.
Yeah, so that's the thing, right? Usually you would think I would get bored of this story if it's that long, but One Piece manages to stay interesting. And even though, like you said, the worlds are different, the settings are vastly different and can be their own little worlds, there is still clearly an overarching narrative that you still care about. So it's absolutely incredible in that sense.
I agree. One Piece keeps on getting better and better. Like literally this arc and next arc are two of my favorite arcs in the entire series, and they're midway through the series, right?
Yeah, and the previous arcs have also been really, really good.
Dude, it's just been honestly like
ever
since Baratier onward, it's been fire. Other than like Little Garden, like.
Bro, I agree. Little Garden was kind of weak. But I do think that now I think you can understand why, in retrospect, what's it called? God damn it. Gecko Moria's arc. Guys.
What?
What was Gecko Moria's arc? What was it called? Thriller Bark.
Thriller Bark.
Thank you. So, Thriller Bark, in retrospect, it's like, oh, Thriller Bark was meh because it's surrounded by the Marineford saga and the Impel Down.
Bro, Thriller Bark was better than I remembered it. It was so fucking funny. It's honestly one of the best comedic arcs there is. And
I love Thriller Bark.
With all this intense seriousness going on, like sometimes you need an arc like that, and it was still very entertaining. One of the best endings to an arc as well.
Anyway, like it was so intense at the end, so it wasn't even like it's a break. It's like, yo, the crew is gone. Like are they dead? They're separated?
No, you're thinking of Sabaody. We're not talking about Sabaody. We're talking about Thriller Bark.
Moria.
Okay, so that one ends
with nothing happening.
That one also end with Kuma?
Yeah, it ends with Kuma and then nothing happened.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so the nothing happened moment is also very intense. So it's not even like a calm down arc.
Yeah, I just feel like the first.
You think it's a calm down arc until Kuma shows up with his Bible.
The first 5 to 10 chapters were a little bit slower and just kind of had a good comedy in it, It doesn't like Moria and that doctor guy are like kind of meh.
Brooks' backstory, also emotional masterpiece, dude.
So we did have some side stories about where the rest of the crew is.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Sanji is in the island of the drag queens, which again, I'm telling you guys, people were calling me out you're saying that Sanji's actually lucky that he ended up there instead of Amazon Lily. And I'm telling you, if he ended up on Amazon Lily, he would have bled to death from his nose.
This is a fact.
This is better. Okay. Also, we saw where Nami is, Chopper, Robin. And the most important thing to me was Zoro ended up at the birthplace of Vegapunk, right? Was that Zoro?
No, I thought wasn't that Frankie?
Yes, Frankie ended up at the birthplace, like the snowy area of Vegapunk. Did we find out where Zoro ended up? I don't want to spoil anything.
I'm not sure. We saw him like he ended up where Perona did, right?
Yes, he did.
But yeah, but I'm not sure how much we learned about it. But yeah, the Vegapunk thing was very interesting to me. It's like his birthplace. Why? What's the significance here? What's going to happen here?
Well, you will see. They all ended up on their separate little islands or in different places. I'm pretty sure last arc we found out that like, was it Robin's not even in the Grand Line anymore?
Yeah, she was in some island being enslaved, but then they were. So they were the people on the island that were being enslaved were rescued by rebels. Are these the revolutionaries or just some totally unconnected rebels?
I think I could say that they're the revolutionaries.
Okay, because that's what I assumed, but I just didn't know if the word rebel versus revolutionary, there was some kind of distinction there.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's cool.
Did we find out? Did you see where Nami was yet, or is that revealed later?
Yeah, we saw she was somewhere like cooking, I think.
All right, I won't say anything, but like. She's in a place where she's like they're all gonna get stronger and have their own little training arcs and kind of develop in their own ways separately.
Mm-hmm. That's what it seems like. Yeah.
Especially me. What?
Yeah. All right, I think it's about time we wrap it up.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us. Again, if you want to support the podcast, spread the word. And if you really want to support the podcast, we do have a Patreon, patreon.com/rantcafe. It really means a lot to us. And we have like 180 people supporting us right now. Love you guys.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just
180 mad lads. No, I know, actually, you didn't interrupt me for a while, so you had to get that in there. But yeah, thank you, Nux and Briggs.
Nux and Briggs!
Big thanks to also Tekking Mr. Geography for stepping up to this arc that he loves so much, and many people wanted him here, so I'm glad that we could do that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just said hell yeah.
Cool. And until next time, guys, see ya, Space Cowboys.
Bang.
Wink!